It was sure trash day at the Hilton. Me, my instructors, and my fellow interns were driven crazy by the swarming flies that swarmed around our trash. But flies are less of a pest than what bees are. And you know, James had some experience with bees. With this book, Buzz Buzz. Let's begin. Boco reached the big station and arranged his freight cars. Then he went to the shed and asked politely if he could come in. Duck was not pleased to see a diesel, but presently he found out that Boco knew Edward. He became more friendly, and by the time Boco had told him about Bill and Ben, they were laughing together like old friends. "Have they ever played tricks on you?" asked Boco. "Goodness me, yes," chuckled Duck. "Edward is the only one who can keep them in order." "You know," Duck went on, "I sometimes call them the bees." "Good name," chuckled Boco. "They're terrors when they start buzzing around." Just then, James bustled in. "What's that, Duck? Are you terrified of bees?" "They're only insects after all, so don't let that buzzbox Diesel tell you different." "His name is Boco, and I wouldn't care," interrupted James. "If hundreds were swarming around, I'd just blow smoke and make them buzz off." "Buzz, buzz, buzz," retorted Duck. James retired into a huff. James was to pull the express the next morning, and when Duck brought his coaches, the platform was crowded. "Mind your backs! Mind your backs!" Two porters were taking a loaded trolley to the front van. Fred drove, while Bert walked behind. "Careful, Fred! Careful!" warned Bert, but Fred was in a hurry and didn't listen. Suddenly, an old lady appeared in front. Fred stopped dead, but the luggage slid forward and burst the lid of a white wooden box. Some bees flew out, and just as James came backing down, they began to explore the station. Someone shouted a warning. The platform cleared like magic. The bees were too sleepy to be crossed. They found the empty station cold. James's fireman was trying to topple the train. They buzzed around him hopefully. They wanted him to mend their hive. Then they could go back to be warm again. But the fireman didn't understand. He thought they would sting him. He gave a yell, "Ah!" ran back into the cab, and crouched with his jacket over his head. The driver didn't understand either. He swatted the bees with his shovel. The bees, disappointed, turned their attention to James. James's boiler was nice and warm. The bees swarmed around it happily. "Buzz off! Buzz off!" he hissed. He made smoke, but the wind blew it away, and the bees stayed. At last, one settled on his hot smoke box. It burned its feet. "Oh, that hurts! Oh, that hurts! That really hurts!" The bee thought James had stung it on purpose. It stung James back right on the nose. Whistled James. He had had enough. So had his driver and fireman. They started without waiting for the guard's whistle. They didn't notice till too late that they left their train behind. Ooh. In the end, it was Boco who pulled the express. He was worried at first about leaving his freight cars, but Duck promised to look after them, and so it was arranged. He managed to gain back some of the lost time, and Sir Topham Hatt was pleased with him. No one seemed to notice when James came back to the shed. They were talking about a new kind of beehive on wheels. It was red, they said. And then they all said buzz, buzz, buzz and laughed a lot. James thought that for the big mainline engines, they were being very silly. Oh, man. They sure did taught those bees a lesson, didn't they? I'm glad you enjoyed the story. Comment below if you enjoyed it. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Bye.